What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Did you expect Texas to be at number one? Did you expect Illinois to be ranked ahead of Michigan? And did you expect Oklahoma to appear nowhere at all in the top 25? There's a little bit more to say about that. Look, we kind of knew what this is going to be going into preseason. Coaches poll comes out today. It means the AP top 25 comes out next Monday. And that is the one where we set the table, right? Outside of my own top 25, that's the one that I look to. The coaches poll really is mostly SIDs voting on behalf of their coaches in recent years and years past. We really put it down after this week. We don't give it a whole lot of our attention, especially as everything goes out the window when the college football playoff selection committee gets on the scene, because that's the one that we all start working with. And we use the AP, we use mine to try to figure out where it is they're doing their jobs or where they're not doing their jobs. And I'm already going to say, for the folks that want to know why we still do preseason polls, it's because you're watching the content. It's because you like it. It's because you enjoy it. Also gives us a great setting going into the weekends, right? We start playing week 0 games in just over, less than 3 weeks' time. We're getting into 2 weeks' time. It also is much cooler to watch a game where there are numbers next to a team's name than not. We like the rankings. Matter of fact, that was what they were doing. It was what I do. Ranking teams. We like ranking things. It gives us an opportunity to argue about where people are in a hierarchy. It gives us an opportunity to really judge who's doing what over the course of the year. It's also why you might not see a team like, say, Vanderbilt, who had a great year in this thing. And you're always going to see a team like Alabama, who's here year in and year out. So we don't argue about where Alabama is in the top 20, or excuse me, whether or not it's a top 25 team. We argue about where it is in the top 25. So let's go through it one by one, see where we end up. Texas number 1. That's Arch Manning. That's Steve Sarkisian, continuity in the coaching staff. You get CJ Baxter back, which is like getting a 5-star on the board or a top transfer. Ryan Wingo's feeling himself. DeAndre Moore wants to be the next Jordan Shipley. Anthony Hill is a monster. You get it. Ohio State at 2. That's the defending national champions. They might ask you, what the hell did we do not to be the preseason number 1 in the coaches poll? Well, losing Will Howard has a lot to do with that. 4,000-yard passer. We know this, but more than anything else, it's experience. He's a grad transfer at Ohio State. Now you're going to go with a redshirt freshman in Julian Sand or sophomore in Lincoln Keenholz at the most important position in all of sports. You got a new offense coordinator in Brian Hartline. You got a new defense coordinator in Matt Patricia. Still got Caleb Downs. Still got, that Franklin Richards over there and Jeremiah Smith, who's not even from this dimension. That's 838 over there. So you get it, but you want to see a little bit more. Penn State at number 3. That, I think, is about where many people expect them to be. I can't make Penn State a top 5 team because they can't beat top 5 competition. They're 1-15 against AP top 5 competition. I'm not going to make that team a top 5 team if they can't beat other top 5 teams. One of them ranked ahead of them is Ohio State, right? They got a hard time with them, but you do have Nick Singleton, Katron Allen. Drew Aller can get you to the show, but can he get you, winning the show? He hasn't won a big game in his life. You're going to be new at the wide receiver position, but you ought to be talented. Deni Dennis Sutton leads a really great defense where we think Jim Knowles is going to be able to make that 4-2-5 operate. Remember, Texas scored 38 points in the two previous games before playing Ohio State, which got held to 14 when they played Ohio State. That defense that he was running was great. We're going to find out how much it had to do with the coordinator, how much of it had to do with personnel. Georgia at 4 with Gunnar Stockton. I'm fine with this. As long as they're healthy at the running back position, their wide receivers can catch passes, Georgia's going to be fine. We know who they are. That's the defending SEC champs. Notre Dame at 5. That's the national title runner-up. Also new quarterback, CJ Carr or Kenny Minchie. We think it's CJ Carr. We think the Kugelberg quarterback system is a red herring. But for them, they got a really interesting schedule. Like, I'm circling a bunch of games on their schedule, not notably Arkansas. I really wanted to know how they measure up against a middling SEC team. Clemson at 6, fine. Cade Klubnik, Peter Woods, you get it. You understand. Oregon at 7. I'm a little bit higher on them, I think, than most, but Dante Moore, new quarterback. You added Mekhi Hughes to the running back room with Noah Whittington. You're going to be talented on the outside with Malik Benson, with DeCorian Moore, with Gary Bryant. Defensively, Mateo Uyunglele is going to be great. Dylan Thunderman, I think, is the second best safety in all of college football. Bama at 8. That's Ty Simpson, another new quarterback in here, right? We're looking at what he might be able to do with Jam Miller in the backfield, whether or not we get to see Isaiah Horton step up and make it happen alongside Ryan Williams. Can Cole Adams make more catches? That defense led by Deontay Lawson needs to be better. LSU at number 9 might be the most prolific offense we've seen since Jaden Daniels quarterback, but that's not saying much, right? Because Garrett Nussmeier threw 4,000 yards. That's the returning SEC leader in passing. He's fast on the outside, too. He's got Barry and Brown. He's got Nick Anderson. They're going to be able to move the ball up and down the field. Cade Durham is going to be great. Miami at 10, that's Carson Beck. We'll see, right? I think Mario Cristobal is really the only thing holding them back because his clock management is led much to be desired. Like, we still want to see more from him. Arizona State at 11, that's the defending Big 12 champs. They might feel a little bit slighted here, but I'm fine with this. You did it last year. Let's see you do it again. They got Sam Levitt back. They added to the running back room, but replacing Cam Scadaboo's production is just going to be that much difficult. But Kanye Udo can do it. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, can be the best wide receiver in that league. Illinois at 12, they return a ton, right? That's what this is. Gabe Jacques is a monster on that edge. And then Luke Altmaier steadies the ship. Brett Bielema's squad is going to run the ball. They're going to play defense. They should win more games than they lose. They could win 10 games this year. South Carolina with Lenore Sellers, who's the NFL draft darling of the moment right now. They could be great. Activate Nick Harbor. You activate Nick Harbor with Lenore Sellers, you're a monster. They won 9 games without that. You get those two guys on the same page, and sky's the limit for South Carolina, who looks a lot like 2010 Auburn. Michigan at 14, they got a quarterback now. They averaged just 5.4 yards per pass attempt last year, which is egregious, but they still won 8 games, beat Ohio State, beat Alabama. Be a little bit better passing the ball. Get Rod Moore healthy. Make sure that Rayshawn Benny can be your next Kenneth Grant, your next Mason Graham. Derek Moore ought to be a monster on the edge. Find me a wide receiver. Let Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes do a lot of the heavy lifting over the course of the season. Ole Miss at 15. Austin Simmons can be a dude. We saw that 75-yard scoring drive he had against Georgia in the upset win that Ole Miss had. It's about winning every game you're supposed to, and then getting every once in a while a game like Georgia where you can make that march in the college football playoff for the first time. Southern Methodist at 16. That's a lot, man. Kevin Jennings didn't look great against Penn State. Frankly, didn't look good against Clemson. That means that against class competition, SMU didn't look good. But I understand. I get it. If you want to believe that the team that hasn't lost a regular season game in the ACC is a top 16 team, then by all means. 17, we got Florida. DJ Lagway is the way here. If he's healthy, they're great. If he's not, they suck. It's that simple. 6-1 when he starts the game. 6-0 when he starts and finishes the game. Keep him healthy. He's already had a few nicks and knocks in preseason camp, just got underway. Got to keep that dude healthy. Tennessee, the Joey Aguilar team, or the revenge of Nico Iamaleava. Somehow Tennessee has had some really messy divorces with quarterback and Nico Iamaleava, with Jeremy Pruitt, and McDonald's bag to Lane Kiffin. But they love hard, right? So if you play for them and you go all out for them, they're going to make sure that you're remembered for a very long time. And Josh Heupel's been doing just that. They'll be good. Indiana at 19, I'm a little bit shocked that they're that far down, because I think that Kurt Signetti has shown that he knows how to manipulate the portal and build a roster. He's got Fernando Mendoza over there. He's going to have Elijah Surratt. They're going to be great. They're going to be good. They got a schedule that's also choice. Kansas State, nobody on their team, or on their schedule, should be able to outclass them. Avery Johnson should be a Heisman level candidate. We know this about them. They should compete for the Big 12 championship. A&M at 21. Okay, cool. Tell me if Marcel Reed's going to pass for 3,000 yards. Because if that happens, A&M's good. If it doesn't, they suck. It's that simple for me. Le'Veon Moss is going to do what he can. They're going to be good defensively, but those are things we can count on. Marcel Reed and his maturation in Colin Klein's offense is going to be the tell here. Iowa State's good. Rocco Beck, he's a monster. He's going to be that guy. Matt Campbell has those guys pulling in the same direction. They made it to the Big 12 championship game. It's just Iowa State, so they don't have a big following, and we don't really care that much. It's more or less been the other team in the Big 12 up until Matt Campbell turned it into a monster. And I say monster because think of 2020 on, you got to deal with Iowa State. They've had a down year, but you got to deal with Iowa State. BYU, who the hell's the quarterback? Why are we putting him at 23? What the hell is this? Jake Retzloff is gone. LJ Martin, Chase Roberts, okay, cool, but who's the quarterback? It feels like somebody was filling out their ballots way in advance of this news, and this is one of the reasons I kind of don't like it when voters aren't paying that much attention. Texas Tech at 24, they earned it. They went into the portal. They spent over $10 million. They got David Bailey. They got Baron Morton some parts. They brought Micah Hudson back. They expect to contend for a college football playoff spot this year. Boise State at 25, I think that's kind of a mercy right there, because Boise State is ahead of Oklahoma, which is wild to me. I don't know if y'all know this, but Ashton Genty's a Las Vegas Raider now. Maddox Madsen, I don't care, dog. Like 25, what are we doing here? Oklahoma got votes. So 26 team, 27 beat Missouri, Louisville 27, SC 28, Utah 29. Wow. Baylor 30, Auburn 31, Iowa 32, Memphis 33, Army 34, Tulane 35, Georgia Tech 36, Texas Christian 37, Nebraska 38, Syracuse 39, Washington 40, Navy 41, Arkansas 42, Duke 43, Colorado 44, Minnesota 45, UNLV 46, Florida State 47, Kansas 48, Vanderbilt 49, Buffalo got a single vote. List of voters include, the USLBM Board of Coaches for 2025, which is every, one of these coaches that you would think of. Wild that Oklahoma trails Boise State, but after going 6-7 and watching Boise State make the college football playoff with a 2,600-yard rusher, I guess got to eat that and then go make it happen during the season.